Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful souls, it's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. And I want to welcome you, and I am so thrilled to have joined me for another enlightening episode. Today, we are diving deep into a truly inspiring theme, and it's moving forward, being of circumstances and becoming a victor. All right, today we are going to be joined by an incredible Debbie Weiss, She's an author, an entrepreneur, and a beacon of hope that has transformed her life of challenges into opportunities for growth and empowerment. Before we bring Debbie to the stage, I would like to take a quick break, and then when we return, we'll get deep into our conversation, all right? It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back. Hey, my beautiful souls, this is your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks, and I am excited to share something special with you. Introducing my latest ebook workbook, Healing Beyond the Betrayal, a journey of growth, empowerment, and renewal. In these 55 pages, I offer you insight, heartfelt stories, and practical worksheets designed to guide you on your healing journey. So if you experience betrayal or you are seeking personal growth, this resource is made just for you. You see, it's time to reclaim your power and embrace renewal. So you can get your copy by visiting the seasonofselflovepodcast.com. And as a thank you for being part of our community, use the code HEALED09 at checkout to enjoy a 15% discount. So let's embark on this journey together because you deserve to heal, grow, and thrive. What are some common barriers that prevent people from expressing? Hey, it's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here from the Season of Self-Love podcast.
Yeah, I would say remorse. So shame and guilt is a very dividing emotional.
And these are one of the many amazing conversations that we have every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Season of Self-Love podcast with myself, Nyomi Banks, as well as our resident therapist, Dr. Will Washington of Washington Wellness Institute. Come by.
The reality of our relationships with people.
Come by.
A lot of times we're afraid of how people look at us. And so that compassion can't enter.
You can hit us on our website,
really
the Season of Self-Love podcast.com. Let me ask you this. With the truth, is it... All right, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and today we're talking about from victim to victor, embracing your journey with Debbie Weiss. Here's another amazing episode that's a part of our Healing Beyond Betrayal series. So let's welcome our amazing guest, Debbie Weiss. I am so glad to have you here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Debbie, usually what we do is we do a nice guided meditation before we get into the topic at hand. All right. So, my listeners, before we get into our conversation with Debbie, let's take a moment to just ground ourselves with a short guided meditation. All right. So, if you could all get comfortable at this moment and at this time, find a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down, and gently close your eyes. Now I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. And I want you to hold it for a moment. Now exhale slowly through your mouth, letting go of any tension or stress. Now I want you to imagine a warm and surrounding you with this light. This light represents love, acceptance, and strength. Allow this light to develop you, fill you, your heart with peace and resilience. And with each inhale, draw in positivity. And with each exhale, release doubt. I want you to hold on to this feeling of empowerment as we explore today's topic. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes and return to the present moment. All right, my listeners, first I want to thank you all for just sharing this moment with me. And if you're new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, this is something that we do every day, Monday through Friday, just to help center ourselves before we get into the topic at hand. So Debbie, your journey is one of incredible transformation. And you've faced numerous personal challenges, from body images issues, from early family responsibilities to infertility and profound loss. So how did these experiences shape you to your mindset of feeling like a victim into stepping into your power as a victor?
Yeah, Naomi. I mean, for the first 50 years of my life, I felt like a victim. I felt sorry for myself. I would question all the time, why does all this have to happen to me? It just felt like one thing after another. Nothing was easy, comparing myself to my friends and family. And, I'm a good person. I don't get it. Until when I turned 50, I kind of had an aha moment, something about that age of 50 that made me stop and take a hard look at myself and realize that, you know what, we can't measure, oh, how many things have you had challenges? How many challenges have you had versus me? Like, this is not that kind of game. You'll always find someone who has less, who has more, harder, all of those things.
Right.
It's about how we handle them and how we look at them. And I was allowing them to dictate the course of my life. And I didn't think that I had a choice. It was just the way it was. Right. And when I realized, no, Deb, you have a hand in this life of yours, that changed everything. And that was about a decade ago, because I'm heading towards 61.
Oh, wow. You look amazing. Oh, wow. But, I totally understand that when you get to that 50, if you become that aha moment, I say that is the first book of our lives. So when I hit 50, that was it. I was closing that first book. And I thanked everyone who was a character in my book, whether they were the villain or the hero, or, I thanked them for that. And I said, it's time to close this book. I closed some friendships that probably outlived some seasons. And I opened up my new book. And now I'm on my second chapter of my second book. And I know exactly what you mean with that aha moment. I was blessed to get there at 40. That's when I started to realize mine at 40. Yeah, at 40, when things start opening up for me. But I love where you're going with this. I guess at 50 years old, when you came to that moment and you came to that realization, and you know how sometimes we have these limited beliefs, and hearing part of this, or we're actually reading part of your story, do you believe that your environment kind of assisted in that limited beliefs?
Oh, for sure. And I didn't realize that, well, first of all, realizing, and not that I'm bad mouthing my parents, because I'm not, they didn't know, most of the time when we get those limiting beliefs from our childhood, and God knows what I've passed on to my own kids, right?
Yeah.
No, they don't do it on purpose.
Right.
We're all doing the best that we can. You don't realize the messages that you're sending. But looking back, I understand now my body image issues. And that wasn't just my parents. That was everyone around me, especially
Right.
at that, era of time. Um, and you're right. I could see, if I'm surrounding myself by people who are feeding into that negative mindset,
Yeah.
it just helps me stay there. And really, about, I don't even know, 3 or 4 years ago now, I had been on this journey for a while, and I branched out and took a business mastermind. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I wasn't sure what business it was. I do have a full-time job. And I walked into this online world that I never knew existed. And the most amazing part of it is getting to meet people like you, this
Mhm.
whole community that you don't even know exists. They exist in
Yes.
my computer screen.
Yeah.
But it feeds your soul because you find other people who are on the same journey, and
Yeah.
just bringing those people into my life on a daily basis, it keeps me going and inspired and exciting. And
Yeah.
so without that, I can feel how I crave that if for some reason I'm not getting those connections, because you can't always get it from, your friends and family, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so true. This morning, I was writing in my journal. I was sitting at my altar and I was writing in my journal. And one of the things that I thank for is, thank you for putting me in spaces where I feel uncomfortable. Meaning that for all of my life, for 50 years of my life, I've always was surrounded by people that I felt my most comfortable with, that I felt like did not challenge me to go further. You understand what I'm saying? And as
Oh,
you
yeah.
spoke, our parents and loved ones that are around us, they live off of fear. We all live off of fear, and so those limited beliefs that they put on us, that was just a fear of them having, not knowing if they're able to protect us, or not knowing, just period. But it started yesterday. Every day I'm starting to put into my journal is that I'm thanking and welcoming to being in those uncomfortable spaces with, because this room right here, even you and I speaking, even being, just able to speak to everybody and interview different people it has been amazing to me, because, not like you said, not only like-minded people, but understanding that I can actually see myself and resonate with them in their voice. So I'm able to be bilingual in the language of self-love, as we hear, Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And uncomfortable, putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, because I was and still am, a fearful person.
Mhm.
And especially when you grow up with limiting beliefs of being judged, to put yourself out there into an uncomfortable situation. Well, I'm going to avoid that, or I did avoid that at all costs. And
Yeah.
what I found was, when I had no choice, when I was forced to be in those uncomfortable positions, that's what made me grow. Even
Yeah.
though you don't like that feeling and it's hard to want to jump into that feeling, every single time, that's what made me take a leap instead of a step.
Yeah. Yeah. Self-love, this is the season of self-love. This is what
Yep.
we talk about. So, um, my thing is, fall in love with yourself.
Mhm.
Fall in love with yourself. Embrace every part of you. With self-love is such a crucial aspect of a personal growth for ourselves. And no one can teach you this. They really can't. They really can't. If anything, you give them the tools to have the opportunity to use them for their own growth and their own healing. For you, what are some self-help routines or self-care practices that you do that support your journey to self-love?
Let me just say that the whole idea of self-love, um, it just hits me so hard, because I didn't love myself, right? I didn't. And I can honestly say that now I do. I don't need somebody else to love me, right? To give me value.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, and I love that this is what your mission is. How the heck do you teach this to other people? I don't want people to have to wait until they're 40, 50, 60, right? But does it come with wisdom? Does it come with experience and age? It's so difficult to come up with the formula. For me, it really has been a journey of self-reflection, of becoming curious, right?
Yeah.
Things that I would always say, I don't do that. Like, I don't journal. I don't meditate. Like, I was so not open to any of that. I mean, gratitude, I thought that was ridiculous. I thought someone made up that woo-woo thing. Of course, I'm grateful for my family, what do I have to say that for? Until I really started being open-minded and embracing these practices. And it really has made it, I'll tell you, for me, and it's so ironic, journaling has changed my life. And I was just looking at a blank piece of paper, gave me anxiety. I needed an instruction. Well, tell me what to do. How long am I supposed to write? What am I supposed to say? And when I let go of that, and I remember the first time that someone said, if you don't know what to write, just start writing. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. And all of a sudden, you'll be amazed how that changes.
Yes.
And the very first time that I journaled without any prompts, I was like, wait, what happened? I started talking about this one thing, and I wound up somewhere in left field that I didn't even know was on my mind.
Yes.
Right? And I think you really just find out so much about yourself, and it doesn't make sense. Why do I have to write it down? Why can't I just think it? But there's something about the process, I'm telling you. So for me, that has really been, I think, the biggest tool of my journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, while we're doing this series, I'm doing a 30-day challenge of healing beyond betrayal as the challenge that we're doing right now. And several of the different challenges are writing a letter, whether it's a forgiveness letter to yourself or someone else, or just journaling your feelings. The very first day is to write the betrayal, describe what the betrayal is for you, to you, and describe that, and just be raw and uncut with it. And as I am telling them, is that when you begin to start writing, there are emotions and feelings and words that you didn't even know that you felt that come out. And it feels like you are throwing up and vomiting out toxic feelings and emotions. And I know it's like, well, can't you say those words? For some reason, when you look at it on a piece of paper and you read those words, it hits something different. But this is a thing, you can always go back to that page when you feel some type of way, when you have that little trigger. That is what I feel what journaling is for. So you can always go back to it. From years from now, you can always go back to that moment, because these feelings are never going to go away. They've been stuck in us for over 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
So at least now you have that part that you can always go back. That's a part of your tool. That writing and things are part of your tool. So I'm so glad that you come to realize, like, yeah, this helps me, writing with me. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had a diary?
When I was a little girl, when they used to sell those cute diaries that had that little lock on it and stuff. Yeah, I thought that was so adorable. I got a few of those, but I don't think it was never anything that I stuck with. So I had one, but it was not life-changing for me at that point. I just think I wanted it because it was cute and I liked the whole idea. And then the novelty wore off a little bit, down the road.
All right. So you have a passion for helping others, right?
Absolutely.
And which is so inspiring, just from my own heart. This is something that I love to do. Could you tell us more about your podcast? Maybe Can. Is it maybe I can?
Maybe.
And what do you hope your memoirs, 1 second thought, maybe I can will achieve? That is such an amazing title. One
Thanks.
second thought, maybe I can. Yes, I love
Yeah.
that.
It really is, it's my journey. Like I said before, I had an attitude of I can't do this. There were so many reasons why, and it could be something so simple like, I don't know, I can't knit, I can't write in a journal, right? I can't, like small things like that. Anytime that anything new, uncomfortable was presented to me, my answer was always no.
Mm-hmm.
But I have discovered that if you just wait like another beat and say to yourself, well, wait a second, on second thought, why not? Why
Yeah.
can't I do this? That's when everything changes. And so I want to inspire people to wait that extra second, to be aware when your mind is telling you no.
Yeah.
Really examine that no. Is it really no? I made a maybe I can list. What are all the things that I thought I can't do that? I can't do that. And you know what? I could do it. And I wound up doing it. And I
Yeah.
wound up proving myself wrong
Yeah.
because we all have those things that we thought we could never do. And in hindsight, we did it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't think I know I don't give myself credit. It's like, okay, good, great, on to the next thing. You forget how you felt prior to taking that leap.
Right. Right.
And so I want people to realize that you can.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Yeah.
Stop with the I can't. Take the I can't out of your vocabulary.
And say I can.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I can. So let's talk about the I can.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that you said I can, but when you were saying I can, and I want to kind of go on with our series topic where we're talking about is healing beyond betrayal. And a lot of times the betrayal doesn't always come from someone else. It could come from us first on our betrayal of ourselves. Now, I read somewhere about infertility.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your infertility or is your
Mm-hmm.
infertility?
Mm-hmm.
And I also heard you, and I also heard you say, why me? Why was these things happening to me? Meaning for everybody else, but it wasn't happening for me. In that moment, and this is a question, did you feel like that your body or you were betraying yourself?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I could not understand, like you said, it was, oh gosh, anybody who's ever struggled with infertility, it seems like everybody else around you too, right? Like everyone else is a rabbit. I didn't want to go outside in my community and see those little kids. My cousin would just look at her husband and they were pregnant 3 times, They didn't understand what it was like. And then you question yourself, did I wait too long? Right? I think I was in my mid 30s when I started to try and get pregnant. I shouldn't have waited too long. Oh, I should have started 2 years, all of the things. And then when we did go through the infertility journey, and yeah, as my husband would have told you, his sperm were stupid. I think they swam in circles. They didn't know how to swim upstream, but that was like the easy part. In the end, it was me. I had prematurely aged eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was the quality of my eggs that was causing the issue. If it were just him, it would have been a lot easier solution than it was. So of course, then you say, how could this happen? Really? I had already been through so much prior to that. I couldn't believe that now, I remember hearing a friend going through it and telling me about IVF and the injections. And I'm thinking, I'm such a sissy. I would never do that. Like, gosh, hope that'll never happen to me. And yeah, it did. But you know what? There was another example. Maybe I can. If I wanted something bad enough, I did everything and anything.
Yeah. One thing that we're learning about in this series is that a part of our pain in looking through our betrayal is a gift. That's what a gift. And even though you were unable to have children of your own, right now. Just you going through your journey, going through your challenges, and coming out on the other side is not only a gift for you and part of your gift, but this is a part of your purpose. Meaning that there are so many different women that's out there in this world that don't understand that and might not have another voice that they can hear to tell them that. Because remember, we are around in a community of people in our intimate circle that can't relate to what that person is speaking about, where you can in so many different ways relate to this person, to where it's like, well, I got through it. And I know it might seem hard right now, but it's truly a gift. Because guess what? Remember what I said about me being limited on my beliefs? Was I ready at 30 years old to bring another child in this world and create them to have limited beliefs? You understand what I'm saying? Like looking at it from a different perspective and say, okay, hold on. Well, maybe my child or my infertility is this. It's my book. This is only one of many books. So if you look at each one of your books as a creation of yours and a child of yours, maybe that's what it is.
I like that. Well,
Yeah.
I have to say, I was eventually successful.
Oh,
I did. I went through IVF 3 times and had a son.
Beautiful.
And then 6 months later, I started the journey again. And in just 6 months, my situation had deteriorated considerably, which was amazing. I was 37 when I had my oldest son. And I just have to tell this story a little bit because I think it's just so special. I went, had my first, so the eggs were the issue. You're supposed to, at a certain age, produce a certain number of eggs. I could not do that. They will only do the procedure if you have a minimum number. I don't recall if it was 4 or 5, whatever it was. And then typically when you get to the point where they're going to transfer them back, the embryos, even though they're not called that, but usually there's several, right? When I got pregnant with my older son, I think there was 4 transferred back in and I had 1 pregnancy. So for number 2, trying for child number 2, I, had 4 transferred back, nothing. The second time, I never even made it to the procedure because they would not do it because I did not produce enough eggs. And the doctor said to me, we're going to try again. I'm going to give you more medicine than I should. This is it. After this, if you want another child, we'll talk about other ways to make that happen. And in the end, every day that I was waiting to hear, did they fertilize? Did they continue to grow? And by the day that it was supposed to be transferred back, there was only 1. And of all the 6 times that I've tried, I tried with 3 and 4 and 5 and never got pregnant. And there was only 1. And so I ordered adoption books and was looking into all other things. And Ben is egg number 1. I got pregnant with just the 1. So he's like my extra miracle baby.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Yeah.
I always show him the little picture because now, they give you a picture. I'm like, that was you. Those cells right there, that was you. Now we know we can pinpoint that one is you. We don't have to look at 4 of them. So very, very cool.
So how old is he now?
He'll be 22 at the end of the year.
He'll be 22 at the end of the year. That's beautiful. That is. That's beautiful. That is. Oh.
It's special. But 2 years later, for the first time in my life, at 42 years old, I got pregnant on my own. I called my infertility doctor and I said, how could this happen? How could this is impossible. This has never happened. And now I'm 42 years old. And I went to the infertility doctor just to and he said to me, Deb, there's only a 5% chance that this is going to make it to a full-term pregnancy. But I'll see you every week and check the progress. And so every week you're on this roller coaster ride, right? Waiting for that day when they're going to do the ultrasound and da 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 da. I do this for, I don't know, 8 weeks? No, 7 weeks. And he said, well, you have defied the odds. Now it's 95% chance that you're going to have this baby. I have 2 boys. I knew it was a girl. I knew it was my grandmother sending me a girl. I was going to name her Annie after my grandmother. Go to see my OB. No heartbeat.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like 40 minutes away. My husband wasn't there. I just figured, well, all's good. He doesn't need to come. This is baby number 3. We got this down pat, early on. So, in my heart, I will always have 3. And I know that was Annie.
Wow. Wow. When I'm listening to your story, and it's truly resonating. It is. I have 3, and they're 10 years apart.
Mm.
Yeah, they're 10 years apart. My first one was natural, nothing wrong, strong, 19. My second one is where I had to go through all the IVFs and all of that. Well, let me say this. Let me say that because I was pregnant before her. And I was on bed rest the entire time. And so when you talk about every week,
yeah,
the agony of every week, and actually my doctor told me at that time, you probably need to, I think you should have an abortion, but he said it in another medical term.
yeah.
He said, because I don't think that it will be conducive to your body for that baby in you. I had the size of baseballs that were growing completely into the sac. So it was kind of smothering the baby and everything and thyroids. And so it was a whole lot of things that was going on. Was one of the reasons why I was unable to get pregnant in the first place, that I needed to have help, from there. And I remember I probably was maybe 3 months, 2.5, 3 months. And I was in excruciating pain throughout the whole time, but I was like, I was going to get through this. And something happened. A bit of betrayal happened within my marriage at that moment in time. And I said, I can't do this by myself. And so I opted to go ahead and do what the doctor asked to do in the beginning. But fast forward 6 months later, now mind you, he told me that I will have to go through the same process again to become pregnant. But I didn't know that my body was still able to, even though the baby was taken, my body was still functioning to where I'm still able to get pregnant. And on Christmas Day, I find out I'm pregnant with her that same year. Yeah, so that's my miracle baby. So let's fast forward. Let's fast forward another 10 years down the line. I'm divorced. I'm newly married to someone else, having a good old time. I'm like, that's it. I got 2 kids, no more. We go to London, Europe. I come home. Probably like 2 days later, I'm feeling sick. I'm like, what is this? This is 10 years. I'm pregnant.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, I am pregnant and I'm on bed rest again because everything, the ovaries, the cyst and all that came. And so I was literally out for 9 months. Like I found out quickly. But I look at each one of them definitely as a miracle, but they were messages and signs for me. Yeah, they were messages and signs for me. I think my middle baby was that don't give up. Don't give up. There is more. And then my last one was, okay, slow down. You move too fast.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So when you share your story, you just don't know how many women that you are going to, oh my God, that's not even at your point, right? Just not at your space or your point right now, at your level where you can take them to that level. And I feel it because it's amazing. It is going to be amazing. And I just thought about saying, oh my God, we're talking about betrayal here. And I know what it feels like for you to feel like your body or your life is betraying you in a certain point. And so I guess what I want to close this off with is for you to ask, how did you get beyond the betrayal of everything? Because now it's about life. It's about everything that in your life, because you said it took you 50 years before you realize it. So what at the point of your life at 50 said, okay, hold on. I have to let this go. I can no longer be the victim. I have to let this go. I have to heal beyond all this betrayal, because really what makes us a victim is the betrayal that we feel from others and ourselves. So how can I become the victor and heal through this betrayal? Yeah.
So we didn't really talk too much about this, but the first step that I took was dealing with my weight issue. And I literally had it my whole life. And it still defines me. And I hate that I say that. I don't want to say it defines me, but it does. I will always, when you look, it's been 23 years since I dealt with infertility, but just talking about it puts me right back there in that moment, because it's so much a part of who I am. And that was just, a short time in the span of my life. My weight issue, I was born fat, basically. Mm-hmm. And it started from from the beginning. And I realized that I had to change the way I was looking at it. The way I had approached it for 50 years was clearly not working for me, because I was on what many of us are on, the whole yo-yo thing, right? Mm-hmm. My whole life. So it wasn't working. So I needed to do something different. And I think the different was accepting the responsibility. I think I used to think that I would see someone eating ice cream, because that's my favorite food. And I must have thought to myself, well, look at them. They're skinny. They get to eat ice cream all the time, but they look like that. Why do I look like that? I don't think that person is eating ice cream every meal. But I was looking like, right. So, and even if they are, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's time for me to stop blaming my body, right? Oh, it's me. I've been fat since, the doctor said it's 6 months. You better switch her to skim milk. She's gaining weight too quickly. What am I supposed to do? How do I I can't combat that. That's, my body. There's nothing I can do about that. You have to take responsibility. That's the answer. You have to take responsibility for your life and stop making excuses. Is it easy? No. Did I all of a sudden one day, okay, and then, 3 months later, I lost the 100 pounds I needed to lose at that point in time? No, it was 3 years, 4 years, but it didn't matter, because I realized this is not an on again, off again thing. This is not, well, I'll just solve it. No. Every minute of every day, regardless of if it's whatever it is, it doesn't have to be weight, right? Mm-hmm. It's when I realized each choice is a chance, each choice that you make, these small choices is a vote for who you want to be in the future. And some days I vote for the ice cream, and that's okay. I want it. And if I want it, I'm going to have it. But yet that doesn't mean I'm going to eat it for my main meal every, you know what I'm saying? So, and so I gave myself permission to just make the right choices for myself, and realize that it really is like so powerful when you realize, oh, I can determine how I want the rest of my life to look. So stop blaming my body for betraying me. Stop blaming my parents for, making me feel whatever about money. Like, stop it and decide, what are you going to do about it today?
Exactly. I love that. Yeah. We have to get into a place where that self-awareness, where we take accountability for the choices that we make. I say this all the time when I'm speaking. I say about, the prayer that we pray. The prayer that you pray and you ask for. And you've been shown the answer. But it's up to you. It's up to you to say, okay, that's my answer. That's the answer that's given to you. Then you go with it. And if you're not going to go with it, then don't sit there and ask for it. So when you say, well, I want to lose 10 or 15 or 20 pounds, well, you know what you need to do. And exactly. I say this to myself all the time in the mirror, girl, you know what you said. If you can't put that potato chip there. So, and then it's like, well, why am I losing weight? Am I losing weight to look good, to fit in a dress? Or I want to feel good? Is it that because I want my health wise? And that's the thing when we start to look through, like even going through the healing process. Even going through the healing process, it's like, I choose to wake up this morning feeling good. A part of my prayer now is that I am no longer sick mentally. I'm no longer sick physically. I'm no longer sick, spiritually. I am healed. And I say that to myself now is because I understand how words are powerful and how you can manifest sickness and stress within yourself. And it was just literally like a switch that switched off in my head after all of these classes and courses and things that I've taken doing these podcasts. It finally hit me one day like,
me
and
too.
It's like, oh, so I can do, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
So simple, but so hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I wish we could figure out a way to just bottle that and give it to somebody else,
Well, you know what? Honestly, that is what our podcast for.
Exactly.
That is what our self-help books for. That is what we do when we put it. That's
You're
a form of us bottling it out and giving, because you don't have to stay for the good 40 minutes to listen. They can, oh, okay, that helped me. Okay, I'm going to take me a teaspoon.
Yep.
I'm going to take a teaspoon over here at Self-Love with Nyomi. Then I'm going to go over there to Debbie's, to her, and get a dose of that too.
Yep.
It was a young man that I was talking to not too long ago, and we were talking about, I was telling him to promote his podcast on it. He was like, are you sure that's okay? I'm like, yes, we are teammates. We are teammates in this right here. This is something that I prayed for. I prayed to put me in a community of people that can help me to do what it is that I was called to do. And I believe that I am a part of your calling, and whoever else that comes up here, the calling. We're teammates. I just say that I'm either Michael Jordan or LeBron James. But you understand, so we all have a part in this, that we all are helping individuals, communities, the language that they speak, because we're multilingual here. But I know this is not my first language. What you're doing is not my first language. But if I know now that I have my friend Debbie over there that can truly help you, that's much stronger. That's what she did. Okay, go over to Debbie. She's speaking about this, and this is something that we as a community, especially when we're talking about helping and serving others and self-love and all of this, is what we need to be doing. And I think it's an amazing thing that we found each other on that Podmatch platform. Really, it really is. Like I said, when I was approached by Alex with that, and I was like, I ain't never heard of this, and I went down a little rabbit hole, and I said, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah,
exactly. I agree. It's just you meet the people that you're meant to meet.
Yeah. And I've been so many, probably 90% of the people that I've met on this platform has been amazing, has given me confirmation just through their stories, have given me a sense of gratitude.
Exactly.
When you live in your life, you think your life is hard until you sit and you watch somebody be courageous and sit and tell their story and be as naked and raw as you are on there. And then that just pulls at your heart and your soul, and you like, yeah, that's my soul sister, or that's my soul brother. Like, it's, feel it. And they're not celebrities. They're regular old people living their lives. And that's who people need to hear from. That is who they really need to hear from, is that person who lives next door to them or they see in the market, you know?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. When I wrote my memoir, I wasn't going to write it because I'm like, one, who am I? I'm not a celebrity. Two, thank goodness I haven't been through some horrible, horrible, unusual thing. So who cares? And then I realized, well, where would I get inspiration? I want to hear inspiration by somebody I can relate to.
Yes.
Right? Because luckily, most of us haven't had incredibly horrible things happen, and most of us aren't celebrities. So that's what made me say, yeah, I guess so. If that inspires me, then why wouldn't it work the other way?
Right.
You know?
Right. But we are come to the end of our show.
We could go on forever.
We can. And so I would love to have you back, later on in the season. To talk more about your book. But right now, if you can tell my listeners, where can they find your book at? Do you offer coaching services or whatever? Let it go. Let them know.
Thank you. So the best place to find everything is my website. It's Debbie R. Weiss. You have to put the R, DebbieRWeiss.com. Otherwise, you wind up on a realtor in California without the R. And I am an author and a speaker. And so, yes, I have my memoir. And in November, I'm coming out with 2 other books that I'm very excited about. And you can learn all about it there on the website.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Debbie. This was good.
Thank you. Yeah. Made my day.
You made my day too. Thank you so much. Truly, this has been amazing. And this series has been amazing as well. My listeners here, again, I want to thank you all for just tuning in here to the Season of Self-Love podcast. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And join us next time as we continue to explore the path of self-love and personal empowerment. But I want you to remember that you are so worthy and you are so capable. And you are not alone in this journey because I told you I got y'all right. Until next time, y'all keep loving yourselves so fiercely. Have a good one. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.